Last night I was talking about the idea that humanity is one stage of a metamorphosis of a larger being, who is exactly that, a multidimensional creature whose wingspan spans across dimensions. So today we're exploring the idea that there is a multi-dimensional metamorphosis that is going on, that you as a human are one stage of this metamorphosis. Now, in the insect world, what begins with a point, just like a one-dimensional point, that would be the egg, and that when that egg hatches, it becomes a two-dimensional being, which would be a larva. Here, this is like a worm, right? And here's its little tiny, well, there we go. And that eventually, when that larva reaches its adult stage of development, it becomes an insect that has wings that can actually fly. So the idea is, and it came from speaking about the ancient Egyptian funerary religion, which was not actually focused on death, it was focused on metamorphosis, where the Egyptians actually believed, as I was saying, that it was necessary during one's physical lifetime to undergo stages of refinement and development that then when the human form died, that the consciousness would have built the inner structure and the inner framework, these wings right here, in order to fly through the sea of consciousness when one has dropped the physical form. Now I want to take a moment to draw attention to this particular painting, which shows some aspects of non-physical anatomy, namely right up here we've got our crown chakra, and also the formation of these nested chakras as they exist interpenetrating with the physical form, that these are have been interpreted and are reminiscent of traditional interpretations as angelic beings. Here we have the beautiful halo, and here we have the wings that would be carrying these higher dimensional creatures. So just like one of these little worms, these little larval creatures down here, cannot get from over here, point A, to over here, point B, without having to traverse the whole entire line. It's got to go inchworm, inching, all the way along. And I've spoken in previous lessons how that is very similar to time, where if you have an 89-year-old man right here, that it is implied that there was the 79-year-old man, the 69-year-old man, all the way back to the year zero man, because that is implied by the fact that you got to age 89. And it is not possible for you to simply start at age 0 and immediately go to age 89. This little aspect of form is stuck here in 2 dimensions, right? But when it goes through its pupal stage of development, comes out the other side as an adult, this little guy now has wings, and with that comes the capacity to jump off of the 2-dimensional surface and fly directly to where one would like to go. Well, this is very much like humanity being stuck on the line of time down here and not being able to jump off and go directly from this year to this year. However, when humanity reaches its adult stage of development and develops these non-physical wings, that these are, again, what I'm drawing here are simplifications and 2-dimensional shorthand for these wings, which are actually rotating. They actually rotate around this way. They're actually 3-dimensional. They have form, and they have a spin that spins around this way. When one grows these non-physical, energetic aspects of anatomy, then it becomes possible to fly, I want to say across time, to fly across dimensions and not be limited in the previous way of having to go moment by moment by moment by moment. Now this is all about how what is experienced while one inhabits the physical form is necessary in the process of refinement to create that non-physical anatomy, which then can fly on towards higher dimensions. So the main point that I'm trying to make here is that there's great value to existing in the human body because it is necessary for the stage of development and for the personal evolution that will create this winged form, which then can fly across dimensions or fly through dimensions. And what we're talking about cultivating energy, we're talking about cultivating mind. This is all about changing one's perception and learning to look at the world in another way. I have a very brief analogy for you here. When I draw this hexagonal shape, you see it as just a flat shape until I put in 3 special little lines. Boom, boom, boom. Got it? Now you see it as a cube. Hold on, let me do that again. When I draw it like this, nothing but a flat hexagonal disc. And all of a sudden, I put in that and it's a box with a top and 2 sides. And that has everything to do with your mind and the way that you interpret things. It has very little to do with the actual geometric shape, which is the same exact shape. So what I'm asking you to do is to expand your perception so that when you are looking at the world around you, you're not just seeing the equivalent of the flat 2-dimensional hexagon, that you are mentally adding in that extra dimension. This is still a line drawing on a flat surface, but now you read it as a cube. So when you look around the so-called physical reality around you, that you begin to read it as a sea of possibilities. Now, this painting is a simplification of the chakra system on the body because it shows that all of these chakras are lined up at one point on the physical structure. That's not accurate. I'm going to switch to another one where you can see this is way more accurate over here because you can see that each one of these chakras has a node that aligns with the physical spine. And here you can see the abstract representation of that. This is almost like you could imagine a montage of something moving through time. First it was here, then it was here, then it was here, then it was here. But I want to move back to the other page. Hold on, I'll show you this on the other page. This is simplified and it is perfect for what I want to show you. The idea that when one is moving along time, okay, here is the timeline, boom, and you're actually following it. Here's where you came from, and here's where you're going to, that you are actually following a timeline with the whirling and twirling energy centers of your non-physical body. So I'm going to also draw this out here. When you have these shapes like this and this and this and this, okay, not only is this energy whirling and twirling in this direction, but also these energetic cone forms are whirling around in this direction, and that there's actually a complementary formation that is also whirling in this direction, but whirling forward like that. So you have these 2 hourglass shapes or these 2 apple core shapes that are twirling perpendicular to one another. So this one you would have one going here, and then here's it on front side, and then here it is going around the back. And at the same time, you've got one that's up here that is circulating downward, and now you see it here, and then it circulates downward, and now you see it here. And so you have this lovely intersection of these 2 energetic anatomy structures. And what that does is it creates a stabilizing effect, and you can imagine in exactly the same way that bicycle wheels, if you have nice little bicycle wheels over here and it's not moving, it will totally fall over. But if you have them and they are on a nice road and they're moving and twirling, then that bicycle remains upright. And it is exactly the same way with your non-physical energy structures, that if these are in balance, whirling and twirling in exactly the right way, that you will stay firmly centered along the timeline which you choose to be experiencing. Or I won't get into that, being assigned to a timeline. Let's say the timeline that you choose to be experiencing, because you are employing your energetic anatomy, this area right up here, which is this area over here, where you can see that that is where your sights, your crosshairs, your eyeball of the mind is located, and that is what one would use in order to see down the road of time and know where you want to go. This is essential information, and experience and building of, like you build muscles on your regular body, you build energetic structure on your non-physical anatomy so that you will be qualified to drive the car of your mind when you graduate from having a human body. When you get your energetic, non physical wings, that you will be prepared as a citizen of the universe to fly on wings of time through seas of consciousness or through atmospheres of consciousness. So, that was a really rockin' episode for today. I hope that you will tune into tomorrow for further explanation of the non physical energy field and how you can become a flying rainbow lasagna.